Donald Trump's chaotic clown show house of cards is beginning to crumble, and it's happening from the best place in the best way, from the inside by the little people we all don't even know. And in this breaking story, which I'm going to show you in a few seconds, that is exactly how it should happen, and that's how empires, or in this case, wannabe dictators, actually wind up getting brought down. And you are going to want to see this, because since it's NFL Sunday in America, let's take a moment and realize sometimes the most important player on the team is the guy you haven't seen the whole game, the kicker. And in this breaking story, that's exactly what's going to start cracking from the inside of Trump's foundational hierarchy that's going to bring him and the rest of his cabinet clowns down. Bear in mind, this is what Representative Don Bacon said in the face of everyone else who wouldn't say anything. This is what he had to say about tariffs.
Tariffs aren't working, at least the coffee. I mean, I went to buy coffee when I came back from my apartment, and it was up $4 the bag that I buy, right? People, that's not success.
And as a retired Air Force Brigadier General, he was the first guy to come out and say, Pete Hegseth, you gotta go.
Breaking news. Former Brigadier Air Force General Representative Don Bacon, Republican from New England, has called for Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth to resign, becoming the first GOP member of Congress to do so. In quotes, he's acting like he's above the law, and that shows an amateur person. Don Bacon suggests that Pete Hegseth should be fired. If the reports are true, the Secretary of Defense has failed at operational security, and that is unacceptable. If a Democrat did this, we'd be demanding a scalp. We should be Americans first when it comes to security. I'm not in the White House. I'm not going to tell the White House how to manage this, but I find it unacceptable, and I wouldn't tolerate it if I was in charge.
And even more recently, when we had unelected officials going over to play negotiator with Saudi Arabia, Don Bacon had this to say about Pete Hegseth and Donald Trump.
There's very few countries that are more pro-American than Poland. And they also know that the fall of Ukraine would be devastating to their national security. And I thought, why is a White House official that's not even elected, why is that person belittling the Polish foreign minister? It's not right.
And he finished it with this true statement.
We need more discipline in the White House.
So in this breaking story, while all of this craziness is going on out in front of us, what Pete Hegseth and Donald Trump slowly do is change all the rules in the background. And Don Bacon has called it out. And more importantly, it's cracking the foundation of Donald Trump's presidency. Check out this breaking story.
Breaking news. I already see impact. GOP lawmaker blasts Pete Hegseth's newest amateur move. U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth came under fire from a member of his own party Saturday. The Hill recently reported that Hegseth has ordered that Pentagon personnel be required to coordinate all interactions with Congress through the building's Central Legislative Affairs Office, significantly altering how military officials will speak with lawmakers. Representative Don Bacon, Republican, New England, who recently took an apparent dig at President Donald Trump for his lobbying efforts toward being awarded the Nobel Peace Prize, took to social media over the weekend to slam Hegseth's move reported by The Hill. In quotes, I was a 5-time commander, and our leadership wanted us to engage members of Congress, Bacon wrote. We wanted to share what our great airmen were doing. We were proud of our service. Bacon further added, in quotes, the new rules have put a large barrier between the military and Congress. Pentagon says the change is very small, but I already see the impact with military members being afraid to communicate. This is another amateur move.
You heard Pete Hegseth say in the recent speech he gave when he called all the generals in that he was going to stop all the protracted BS when it comes to the rules of engagement. And yet, what they're really doing is making sure they once again separate out transparency, communication to the branches of government. And that we may not see right away. But while we're bombing innocent people in Venezuela and Trump's threatening to go attack Nigeria in the name of Christianity, it's kind of important to note what the amateur Pete Hegseth, the man who likes to drink on camera during Fox and Friends, that guy is doing as the head of the Secretary of Defense. I will not call it the Secretary of War. You guys have a good Sunday. Like and share the video, subscribe to the channel, and stay frosty.